Welcome to the MadTrio podcast. This week we have the California Pariah, Jonathan Charny, James, the Fattman Stevens.
Hello.
Rob, the old guy.
You're listening to the Rob Charny Show.
Yeah, it's me. I'm here.
And we're going to start off the show, as our tradition seems to be, is bring out the dead. The people we loved, and we want you to love too, I guess. So Cody Logo, Days of Our Lives actor, dies at 34. That's way too young.
It's too young for anybody to die, but unfortunately, I don't know him.
Princess Marie Gabriella of Luxembourg dies at 98.
That's a good run.
And NYPD Blue child actor Austin Majors dies at 27.
Huh? NYPD Blue.
Yeah,
That show hasn't been on for 27 years. Who is this guy?
I'm assuming he's a baby in the show. That's why.
Jeez, I guess.
If my computer would decide to work. It's not working. Oh, there. Hello? Let's see.
Technical problems.
Yeah, no kidding. You know what the worst part is when you click, think, okay, I'll just click a couple more times, and all you're doing is waiting for the same thing to load over and over again. Let's see. Does it say? I don't see how it doesn't say like how old he was in the show, but I'm assuming he was really young because that was on what?
Had to be
the mid to late 90s.
Anyway, so.
Yeah, but so was he? Yeah, I'm like, are we sure he was born?
Yeah. Did he appear in his mom's stomach in the episode?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking.
So Starship, Elon Musk's SpaceX prepares to launch the most powerful rocket system ever built. So a static fire of the Starship on February 9th, 2023 left on the Starship. Wrong one. So apparently it's supposed to happen soon. I think they actually supposed to static fire all however engines. This article thought it said how many. I'm sorry, I picked the wrong article. There was an article.
Maybe you should read it before you start talking about it.
I actually thought it was the same article because I did read one, and I just, it's one of those things that you click close. Let's see. At 394 feet, the rocket is taller than any other operational heavy lift launchers. It's about 30 feet taller than the SLS Mega rocket, which NASA launched around the moon and on its Artemis mission. Designing of rockets of its size is quite a feat of engineering, DeWick said. As a rocket that twice as big as 8 times as challenging to build and test fly, and the rocket's half the size. I'm beyond excited to watch this thing either explode or take off.
This rocket's being used for what?
This is Starship. This is supposed to be his new thing.
Yeah, got it. So he's going to be lifting stuff to the moon? Isn't that the case?
This is the one I think actually has its own space capsule, like actual, crew quarters and. Let's see. Starship is designed to be reusable, meaning it should be able to come back to Earth intact, ready for use again. Musk believes reusable rockets are the future. He's actually proved it. So this is the one, like I've seen drawings of it, the actual Starship capsule itself. It has crew quarters and mission stuff. It kind of reminds me of a Buck Rogers stuff, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen pictures of it. But interesting. Okay, well, cool.
I love SpaceX, mainly because the old guy, you hear him talk about, watching around the old black and white TV, watching people land on the moon.
Oh, it was, I got a chance to watch everything from Mercury to Gemini to Apollo. I mean, it was pretty phenomenal back then, to be honest with you. It was incredible. And
the old guy, Space Age was, Space Age stuff was real. Look at this Space Age pencil. Look, this pen can write underwater. It's okay.
Upside down. And...
Are we sure that, it wasn't all fake?
Yeah, right. There we go.
No question. I mean, they were probably looking at flat Earth up there.
That's right. It's not real. All fake.
On the back
did they get to see the underside of the flat Earth where Australia is?
No, it actually just, when you look underneath, it looks like a record, with all the little lines.
So
When you
after I did that, what was it? The auction, the weird things, that we found at auction, the Disney auction stuff
Yeah.
that I found. I kind of looked around and I found something I think is the weirdest thing ever to really be sold at auction, at like an actual big auction house. Not some of these little ones. I'm sure somebody's out there buying toenail clippings, nose hairs, shit like that.
Yeah.
But like a legit auction house, what would you guys say would be the most weirdest thing that I've found so far?
Elvis Presley's wart.
Just a wild guess.
That was a wild guess.
A stuffed frog.
Let's just say food related.
Oh, it's food related.
The stomach content of Elvis when he passed? I have no idea.
I don't know.
I know. It probably stumped both of you.
Yeah, you did.
So a slice of wedding cake.
Oh, okay.
From 1840.
Really?
Verified from 1840.
So
1840.
Is it still fresh or is it petrified?
It's Queen Victoria's plum cake. A slice of this wedding cake.
Wow.
I'm not sure what the GBP is, but I'm assuming that's the pound. Guess how many pounds it sold for?
2.5 million.
Yeah, it sounds good. I don't know.
1,500 pounds.
Really?
For a slice of wedding cake from 1840.
Doesn't that seem like a bargain?
What are you do with these people? I mean, are you going to eat it?
So that's
I doubt that it's edible at this point.
So as the day as this is recording, that's about $1,800.
Yeah. So, I mean,
so
if it comes with a letter of verification.
So is a history geek? I actually think that's really gross and actually really cool that's a piece of cake that Her Majesty could have said, no, thank you. Too much.
I think that would have been cool to buy it and then donate it to a high school.
So this wedding cake apparently changed the tradition of wedding cakes. It was a 3-tier cake, 3-tier plum cake, stood 14 inches tall, measured nearly 10 feet across.
Wow.
And weighed 300 pounds.
Almost as much as the
the
Queen herself.
Now,
sorry.
Anyways, but I'm just like, why would somebody want that? And who the hell held on to this fucking cake for that long?
It had to be.
This sold in 2016 for 1,500 pounds.
Wow.
You know what it was? Is Her Majesty was finally cleaning out the ice box and just oh, why is this in here?
We finally found this and wondered where it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. You would think that the monarchy would have kept it somewhere sacred or safe, right? I mean somewhere in Buckingham Palace.
It's not like wine. That's what I just have to say. It's
well,
not
that's
like
true. I wouldn't even try to begin to want to eat it, but it must have. Did it show a picture of it?
Yeah.
And did it look like a desiccated piece of cake?
Yeah, it looked like a preserved piece of, cake.
Yeah, okay. Oh, man. Well, hey. Piece of history. Let's look at it that way.
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to do with it? A doorstop?
No, like I said, it should go in a museum or it should go to a school somewhere, put it on display somewhere or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so.
I mean, not many things left over from that. Food items, I bet that's the only thing left over.
Well, we'll talk about germy things that you touch every day. I've got a listicle. This may have been one the old guy has, but I ran into it today and I figured, why not? And
all right, go for it. I have my own listicle.
Melanie, this is for you. I need to come up with some sort of listicle, drop. So, germy things you touch every day. Cell phones, remote controls, computer keyboards, dish sponge, toothbrush holder, anything in the office break room. After working in some big box stores, you have no idea how gross all of those things are. Dog toys? Yeah. What's that?
Yeah, I would agree. Those.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Money?
Big dog toys, huh?
Money, I 100% agree. You never
Money,
know.
Oh, yeah.
After being in retail, I've seen money pull out of places, and I'm pretty sure it's a felony in multiple counties in certain parts of the country. Your office coffee cup, the laundry. Think a quick spin in the washer and dryer will get things clean? Maybe not. One study found that some nasty viruses, including a rotavirus, which has severe stomach troubles, made it through the spin cycle in the dryer.
Oh, great.
Don't.
Just great.
Your purse? Yeah, my purse is fine. The ATM. Again, see the comment about big box stores. Shopping carts, soap dispensers, kitchen towel. And the reason I brought this up, birthday cake.
Oh, and Rob, I just sent a picture of the cake in chat just so you can get a picture.
Yeah, I saw that. Let's see if I can see it.
It might take a second to load, but that's the screenshot I
got. That's hilarious.
It's
so I mean, birthday cake, are they talking about like after the person blows on it?
Blowing out, yeah. Blowing
well,
out.
Then it has the germs too, right?
Blowing out the candles is fun, but keep it to a solo activity. Everyone who blows on the cake sends out germs. One study shows it ramped up the number of bacteria on cake surfaces by 1,400%. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a very pretty looking piece of cake, is it?
I mean, I'm sure it was when it was,
made. Yes.
About 180 years ago. It looked great.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I was actually thinking it was like a piece of like Italian cheese or something. Like, here's a rare,
It's plum cake.
Yeah, I couldn't identify that as a piece of cake, so you'd have to think their word for it.
Like I said, it looks like a piece of petrified wood with plums and stuff in it.
Yeah, it does. It's very odd looking.
Well, go, James.
So I was going to bring this one up. So we all know that back in 2021, the Taliban seized power out in there it is, Kabul, right?
Right.
Well, they have complaints now. They don't like the fact that they have 9-to-5 jobs now.
No.
I
don't believe it.
They're very bothered by traffic, rent, looking at Twitter, talking to women. These things are very trying on these poor Taliban men who go out and took over this whole area. So yeah. I mean, I think we feel bad for them, right?
Oh yeah, there's so many jokes I want to make, and all of them highly inappropriate and will get me canceled. So I don't feel sorry for any of them.
So according to them, when they took over, they were going to make things a lot nicer than when they took it over in the 90s. And they said they were gonna be nicer to women. They were gonna give them more freedom than before. And no,
it's a trap.
People talks about that, and they're not allowing women to attend school, university, and have been killing protesters again.
And they probably require women to be in those like the full face burqa.
Burqas.
Which, by the way,
yeah, sure.
if anybody's out there actually wears a burqa, I'm curious. Like, everyone I've seen is all black. How hot is that damn thing?
I've always wanted the same thing.
Especially like the ones I've seen. I saw a number of years ago some documentary about Iran, and all the women had like the full face burqas with those eye slits, and I'm thinking, dear God, that woman's got to be sweating, because I'm sweating just looking at the thermometer in that documentary.
Yeah, of course the men can run around in short sleeve shirts and all the cool stuff, but
I have to
subjugate our women.
I have to say that the Iranian men thing, that I actually used to know the name of it. It's that white gown looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Looks super cool, like just like temperature wise.
Absolutely. Got to be a whole lot better. You can free ball that baby and you're fine.
And you know what? Apparently, it's probably super cool to kids because apparently Georgia is having problems with students getting drunk off vanilla extract.
That's an old one. They've been doing that forever.
No, this is I just saw this, and it is an old article, but I was thinking, like, I remember people who'd get like drunk off of what was it, the Green Death flavored Robitussin, and I thought that took balls. I think drinking vanilla extract, yeah.
NyQuil. Ugh.
I thought now this drinking vanilla extract I think takes real guts.
So I remember I was in probably let's see, 8th grade, and I knew somebody who that's what she did. She would always have like the extracts on her body, like a few different little bottles of them, because at that time, I don't know if they card you now for it. They probably don't card you for buying extracts and stuff, but she would get the peppermint and the mint ones. And she's like, these have the highest,
alcohol concentration,
alcohol content in them. And these get you drunk really fast. And I remember her trying to get me to drink a couple of those, and I'm like, no, I am not drinking that.
So here is
that's an alcoholic in the making, that girl.
So
I don't know what happened to her, but she probably did turn into an alcoholic.
I mean, if she liked that, I hate to say it, but she probably did.
Here's 10 ways people get drunk without drinking. Snorting alcohol.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, that just sounds painful. Inhaling vaporized alcohol, injecting alcohol. I always thought that was a myth. Breathing in gasoline or aerosol sprays. Yeah, what's up?
So the one I heard. Now it's an urban legend. I don't know if it's true, but this lady would. So her husband was like a real bad alcoholic, and they kept on having him, get arrested for it and spend jail time, but he was so addicted to it that he would have her take alcohol and put it up his butt, and apparently your intestines down there absorb the alcohol really quick, so you get really drunk. I don't know if it's true. It's just a rumor.
I've heard that.
Here's
heard that rumor too. That same rumor. I've heard it. I want to know.
I don't know if it's legit, but so I never want to try it.
Here's number 6. Number 6 and 7 both make me question humanity. Inserting alcohol enemas.
Yep, that's what I was talking about.
That's it. Yep.
Inserting alcohol-soaked tampons. That's number 7. And 8. Eyeballing. Oh.
Well, I tell you what, you do that once too many, and you may not have an eye left.
I have a small shot of moonshine if anybody wants to try that, because I can barely drink that stuff.
That's only good for wounds.
It's moonshine for a little bit.
It's a small little one. I've always wanted to try it, so I've been getting like little samples, and it's like that apple pie moonshine.
Yeah, apple
and
pie.
It has a good flavor, but the alcohol is so strong, you have to find out what you can tamper that alcohol down with.
I think I found a pineapple one at one point. And that one wasn't bad. Like John said, it had good flavor, but it was just one of those, it's like drinking, an extract of pineapple. Pineapple extract, it's like not very pleasant.
By the way, it's hilarious to give people a shot of this moonshine because everybody makes the same face. Their face contorts.
I tried it. It was I couldn't even get it past my nose. It was like burning the hairs. It was terrible. Oh man. So how about I got a list here: 14 things we buy and almost never use. Let's try this one. Online subscriptions. There's the truth. I've bought a few of those that haven't worked out the best financially.
I'm really good at that, because if I don't use it within a certain period of time, then I just generally I cancel it.
Yeah, well, there's people, you get a hair and you go, oh, I'm going to learn Spanish, so I'll sign up for an online course of Spanish or something. Then you never use it.
Just get a job in a kitchen. Ask James. That's how he learned Spanish.
There you go. There you go. Okay. Extended warranties. Boy, I am done buying any extended warranties. I can tell you that.
So
That's
hold on.
just awful.
As a guy who has sold a lot of these, there's a tip that I always tell people, and it's all about if it makes you comfortable. If this is 100% true, because the chances you're going to use it is very nil, especially if you use certain companies one. But if it makes you comfortable, the fact you're buying a warranty that may be a giant pain in the ass to use, it's worth it. But and that's 100%. That's how I sold it. There was a number of people that I told them it's a giant pain in the ass, but if this product is a lot of money for you, it's 100% worth it. Even if you don't use it.
If you say so.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could get all the money back on the extended warranties I've purchased and never used.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
And filing cabinets, that's interesting. Mine are stuffed full. I use mine all the time, but that's what they say, filing cabinets. How about expensive home exercise equipment? Now, there's another truth. I've seen a lot of people that'll buy Pelotons and other home exercise equipment and use them for about a week. They sit there and collect dust.
Yeah.
Silly baby care stuff. All right, I won't go any further than that. Cookbooks. There's another truth.
No, what happens?
Tend to buy.
What happens?
Well, I know at one time, love my wife, but she must have had 50 cookbooks. She may have cracked one once.
They all get they generally get passed down to the next person.
Down, yeah. What was the one everybody used? Not the Mother Earth.
Is it the one with the plaid cover?
Yeah, the one with the plaid cover. It's like a staple in everybody's home. What was that called?
America's Home Cookbook.
Better Homes and
anyway, which we all know what we're talking about. We just can't come up with the name. That one seemed to be ubiquitous everywhere.
I did date a woman for a short period of time who had the Julia's Child sets of cookbooks and was absolutely enthralled with them.
Well, yeah, I mean, if that's your thing, I can understand that. But we're talking a majority of people. Things like gym memberships. Gyms bet on the fact that after the first, the renewal every January 1, after that first month, you'll never use it again. That's the whole premise that they operate off of. So gym memberships, I believe that one. How about day planners and journals? I don't know about you guys, but I tried journaling for, I was going to say I was going to do this every day, and it lasted about 2 days.
I lasted longer than you. I think I made it a month.
Oh, wow. That's great. Looking back at it, I kind of wish I had done it because it would have been interesting to see, but it's not in me.
People telling me all the same time, you need a journal. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, we do it all the time. Like, okay.
Well, it's like the people that would they grow up with writing in their diary.
Yeah,
it's the same thing, right? And I think you either have it in you to do that or you don't. I mean, I knew friends who, mostly women, it seemed like, that were really good at that. I couldn't get past the first couple of days. It's so I can see that one.
I definitely don't have the writer gene in me.
No, not that. So,
there's a comedian.
Single-use appliances. What is a single-use appliance?
Bread maker.
Hot dog toaster. Cotton candy cart. Cake pop-up maker. Okay, I don't know about that one. Travel accessories. What? Let's see. Passport covers, money belts, packing cubes.
See, the money belts, I've always heard, it helps you compress what you're packing. It makes things a little bit more organized if you don't know how to pack.
Right.
Okay.
I've seen them have you seen those commercials where they hook up a vacuum to it and it evacuates the air? Yeah, they compress and things. I think that's what they're talking about. You might use them once. They are cool, but
it's a one-way trip unless you buy a vacuum.
And then what do you do? Just throw all your stuff away? So afterwards, I don't know. So there's that. Souvenirs. Yeah, I think we've all bought souvenirs and then we put it somewhere and then you kind of go, okay.
I kind of disagree. Like I've got a
Well,
little,
yeah, you're kind of the exception to the rule. You
I've
like
got
to
a,
hang.
I've got a little Eiffel tower, that I've had forever. I've got like a
Yeah.
Gettysburg cannon,
Yeah.
mainly because I've got a memory like a sieve. So it's, I should have probably collected all the spoons. I could have just hung them on the wall instead of trying to find where I put everything.
Unless here's the other one, over the top camping equipment. So I don't know what they mean by over the top, but I imagine everybody said, "Hey, I'm going to go camping," and they go to one of the big stores,
REI
right?
or some crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, the REI
and
Cowboys,
they
where they sell you, here's a 16-man tent. Cool, all my family can go.
Yeah.
And
so you
then
buy all this stuff and you use it once.
And then you see it on Facebook, but 2 years later, buy my fucking tent.
I think my dad was into really into camping, and that was our summer vacations for many, many, many years, and always had that same tent, and I'll give him credit. He used his stuff over and over and over again, but that's
I'm not.
that was his generation.
I can't do it. I just don't like. I don't want to camp.
I don't blame it.
I don't want to do it.
I'm over it now too.
I
remember you getting that big old RV, and I thought that's the way to do it.
Yep.
In comfort.
Me too.
Yeah.
Do it in comfort. You're going to do it. That's
I could camp, but I prefer doing it. That's one of the reasons I want to buy a Ram ProMaster at some point. I want to make my own camper van.
Under the stars, not passed out, John. Those are different times. I've slept under the stars camping, and I've slept in tents. I've slept on the air mattresses, all that crap. I prefer to be home.
That reminds me, by the way, of a Paul Rodriguez jokes that I can't tell from about 35 years ago. Look up if
I'm
you.
not sure he could tell them anymore.
By the way, if you want to see what I'm looking for, what joke I'm talking about, it's one of the. Oh crap! It's one of the comic reliefs. I think it's Comic Relief 4 with Paul Rodriguez. It's hilarious. Look it up.
So I got something that just came to mind after Rob's done with his list.
Okay, good. Keep that in mind. It's got 2 more items: specialized sports equipment.
Don't you just do that with the home gym crap?
Pretty much. I guess this is, like, what are they talking about here? Broom ball. Yeah, this must be a East Coast thing. Different weird specialized sports equipment. Strange stuff. Okay, what? And the last is frivolous pet purchases.
Are they talking about like pet supplies?
Yeah, doggy dental hygiene gel.
Pet themselves.
Well, there's that too, right? Anyway, yeah. So that was the end of their list. So at least that was.
Wouldn't frivolous pet thing would be something the pet didn't use? Because a lot of wacky stuff that people actually use that I would consider frivolous.
Yeah.
But that one's
yeah, but a lot of, again, once you start out really good, like I'm going to brush my dog's teeth.
Who does that?
That lasts a couple of days. There's
what person thinks, yes, I'm gonna brush my dog? That person needs look up a therapist.
Before,
but every day I could see having it, but I mean,
yeah, that's the thing. You gotta, it's just like brushing your own teeth. You have to do all the time, and if you're gonna do that,
yeah. So, John talking about Paul Rodriguez's jokes, it made me think of Mel Brooks, because it made me think of like jokes we can't tell anymore.
Right.
So have you guys seen the ad for History of the World Part 2?
Yes.
Now, I looked at, I really dug into the writers of this, and there's only 2 writers credited. And other than Mel Brooks, he's got one other guy on there. And I don't have the guy's name off the top of my head, but I'm going to pull it up right now for everyone. Now, the cast of History of the World Part 2 is very, very exciting. Now, if you guys don't know, this is not going to be a movie.
Okay, what's it going to be?
It's going to be an 8-episode TV series.
Oh, okay.
And,
all right.
It's going to be on Hulu.
Okay.
So that's that's kind of exciting. But when I look at it, I look at the writers, because that's where I'm like, it's got to have Mel Brooks. Now, Mel Brooks is what, like 156?
Something like that. Yeah.
He's only like 92, but
Might
90
as well
something.
be.
But I'm like, he can't really be writing that much. So David Stassen, sorry, and he doesn't really have a lot on his plate that he's done, which
So
is kind of worrisome to me. But I go back to this: I may not trust this David Stassen guy, but I sure as hell trust Mel Brooks.
well, I would
Right.
maybe Mel Brooks is like Prince or Eddie Van Halen, and the fact that they all had like vaults worth of stuff that they were working on or they played with. Maybe he just has a ton of content that they're just pulling from and then refining.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, this guy has got the Mindy Project, which is another Hulu show. I've never seen it. I've heard of it, never seen it. And Central Intelligence, which is Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah. Okay.
Ugh.
And then another one, which is HBO, and this doesn't really interest me, but it's the Sex Lives of College Girls. And I'm like, I'm really not impressed by this repertoire of what this guy's got, So, but I look at him like, man, Mel Brooks, like that guy, he did a lot of stuff that cannot be made today.
Oh yeah.
I mean, can you guys imagine Blazing Saddles being put out nowadays?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious about how it's going to be done. I'm curious about how it is. But like I said, I trust the crap out of Mel Brooks. So
Um.
yeah.
I'm hoping for good things.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been waiting for this one for a long time. I agree with Ryan. If there are no Nazis on ice, I may riot.
Do you know what
I
we've
may literally riot.
do you know what we've all heard good things about? Today's show is brought to you by Audacity, the unforgettable party game for mischievous people. The game where dignity is overrated. Make sure you go to oddassity.com or selected stores. Make sure you use MadTrio, all caps, all one word, for 10% off your final order. Make sure you tell Miss Audacity herself that the MadTrio sent you. Do you want to keep up to date with the maddest of the mad at the MadTrio podcast? Make sure you go to themadtrio.com or check out our social media feeds on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yay.
I think there's
So
one,
have you guys ever watched a movie and
yes, I've seen a
you
movie.
looked at somebody shooting a firearm and
Oh,
went,
God. Oh, God. Where are we going with this?
okay,
I'm getting a little nervous.
no, this is actually a good thing. And you wondered what that firearm was.
Oh, okay.
You
Yeah.
couldn't quite identify it.
Yeah,
right?
there's a
So,
website for that.
Yeah, it's imfdb.org. And if you go there and you have a question about a particular firearm used in a movie, they should have it in the database.
I've been using the firearm database for years because it's like, what is that based off of? And it shows, oh, this is based off an H&K, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of neat. I had forgotten about it and stumbled across it again recently, and I went, huh, that's right, I remember this.
Yeah.
So,
There's a place in what is it, Encino,
mhm.
that is like the memorial. It's like a film gun vault that is like has like a pretty much every gun that's ever been made for film, TV, any of that. And it's like a gun vault that they have, like, even like the ones that are like totally sci-fi-ish ones and all this stuff, and they kind of use it as a database, kind of like what you're saying, for
Yeah.
films. Yeah, there was like a crew that went in there and kind of looked around and showed you different ones, and it's like a museum. I think it's an
Yeah.
Encino. I'd have to. I think Ryan would know where that's at, but I don't. I don't know. But yeah, I always want to go visit that place, but you really can't go in there and wander around. It kind of sucks. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, if you any of you out there and you're watching a movie and you wonder what that was, there you go. Now you can look it up.
The thing I like about this is it has television, anime, and video games. That I actually think is cool because it you know.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
That's kind of cool. I used it for, was it Starship Troopers? There was one I was trying to figure out what the base weapon was. Because if you look Starship Troopers, they always have like these huge, like, you have to be like 3 armed guns to shoot. I love that movie. Such a fun movie.
So, you know, all of a sudden we've been shooting down all these either balloons or not talking about what it is we're shooting down UFO things out there. Guys, heard about that?
No.
Yep.
So so there was a Chinese, what China claimed was a weather balloon, but everybody else saying it's a, you know, it's a spy balloon. And I guess they've been doing it for a while, but we had one fly over from Canada down into Montana and then basically go all the way across the United States to outside of I want to say South Carolina. It's one of the Carolinas anyway, where we finally shot it down. So there's been 4 others that we have shot down since then. And the government isn't really telling us what it is that they've been, what it is they've been shooting down. They have just mentioned that we're shooting down things.
You know what?
So there's speculation.
Like the Battle of Los Angeles type thing.
Well, I don't know. So it's you know, so if the government doesn't come out and say it's actually a balloon, then what is it? They're not saying what it is, and so a lot of people are going, "Oh, it's UFOs. They're really coming. They're coming here."
I have 2 tinfoil hat ones. One is it's the UFOs, and the second one is this is just the start of World War III. Because it somewhat makes sense, especially if you connect dots that don't really match. But you've got Russia and Ukraine. You've got Russia being backed by China. You've got China kind of, you know, being like the quote unquote young upstart trying to see what it can get away with. You know, and they have all these like belts and roads initiatives. I don't know. It vaguely makes sense, especially if you're somebody who's a warmonger.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. It strikes me, most of the people that have either witnessed it or seen it, some are saying, oh, yeah, it was obviously a balloon. And then supposedly there's a quote from one of the fighter pilots that shot down the object saying, I don't know what it was. It was rectangular and kind of odd. It's kind of like, well, all right. What is, you know, it's sometimes you wonder why the government makes certain things top secret or secret, whatever it may be, when they don't really need to. Like,
well, why do I have this feeling he said it in like a southern accent? Y'all don't know what it was. It looked like it was square, flying, had a string on it.
Yeah, I totally lost.
Yeah, I didn't hear a word of it either.
I said, why? Oh, gee, thank you. Internet's unstable. I said, why does it sound like the person you just talked about had a southern accent? Because anytime they show like somebody sounds stupid, it's usually a southerner for some reason.
That's a good question.
So have any of you guys gone to the theaters in the last 6 months?
No.
Last 6 months, maybe just possibly 6 months ago.
Well, I've been starting to read some articles lately that have popped up, and I'm curious about them. They talk about how a lot of people are tired of guaranteed movies, like, you know, the Marvels, what DC's trying to do. And people are missing what the 80s and 90s movies have traditionally done. Like, you got a sequel or two, but it wasn't nonstop sequel. And I wanted to talk about it a bit because I do know I listened to, I think it was an interview with Elijah Woods talking. I think it was Elijah Woods. Maybe it was somebody else. mentioning one of the reasons these movies got made that weren't so good is because they would get money in the back end through rentals. So do you think we're ever going to get more boutique movies, you know, like Tango and Cash and Terminator, like movies that we're not guaranteed to make any money? Or Cobra?
I think we will. I think most of that stuff is going to go to what Nicolas Cage was doing recently, which is making movies straight to streaming. So that's where it's going to go. Like, I know Amazon has their own streaming studio that they do movies that are exclusively for Prime.
Well,
you got the same with Hulu and Netflix.
But I have to admit,
They
like,
get movies that are specifically made for them, like Red Notice. I can't think of any off of Hulu right now, but there's other ones on Prime. There's like they do horror movies that are specifically for them, and Shudder does the same thing.
You know what bothers me though is I still believe theaters are going to become a boutique experience at some point, and somewhere Ryan's rolling in a grave. But it still sucks. I love going to the movie theaters. I love buying the popcorn and the smell, but there hasn't been any movies in the last year, 2 years that was worth paying $30 for.
You know, you could always invest in one of those single-use things that Rob was talking about a little while ago, like a popcorn machine. I know. I don't know if Rob still has one. But you have one of those, Rob?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but it's not. I have to. It's not, to be honest. It's still not the same experience. You know, it's not. You're pulling up. You're buying the ticket. It's the whole ambiance of it. Even though, to be honest, my home theater when it was set up was better than a lot of theaters I've been to over the years.
Well, most of the ambiance now, it's like there's quite a few movie theaters that have beds.
Yep.
I mean, you can go to most movie theaters and now get a steak dinner.
Oh, by the way,
it's not the same thing anymore.
I want to add onto the list of gross and nasty things that you touch every day: movie theater seats / and or beds. That's especially if they're in a quasi iffy area.
I got to tell you, the last time I walked into the theater, our little local theater up here is remodeled and everything, and we went to see, you know, a $4 movie. And and you walk in there, they've got those beds kind of you're talking about. They're actually like lounges, and I'm kind of going, what the hell is that for?
so I don't know if Rob's ever heard this story, but I remember being with John and I went to surprisingly this theater's still around, but the one down off of Iron Point Theater in Folsom.
Oh, geez, yeah.
And we're at the theater, and we get there, and this specific theater has these kind of like cubby chairs that I kind of refer to them at the back of the theater. They're up like on this little flight of stairs up 3, and then it's like kind of tucked in. You get this little partition wall and everything.
Oh no!
And I used to sit back there, and John and I showed up there one day, and we're in this place. This is back when I was still in my chair. The handicap seating is back there in front of that spot, and we're there and we're watching the movie. I don't remember what movie it was, but I just remember John and I both looked at each other because we're hearing these interesting noises behind us.
Yeah.
And this guy telling this girl that, shh, you gotta be quieter. Type thing. John and I are like, this guy's on a date, quote unquote date. I swear to God, this guy hired a prostitute, brought her into the theater, snuck back there, and was being serviced by her during the movie.
Well,
I never sat in those chairs ever again.
Yeah, I bet. No.
And I'm sure John remembers this because I remember we both looked at each other like,
To be honest, I don't. It's one of those things that every time you bring up, I'm like, I'm so glad I don't remember, you know, the heavy breathing and petting.
Oh God, I just remember like looking over at you, John. I'm like, dude, this guy's on a date. And you're like, what? I'm like, dude, guy behind us is on a date.
What? Do you remember the movie we saw?
No, I'm trying to remember. It wasn't a Matrix. I know that. I don't remember. It wasn't a very good movie. I do remember that.
Because
It was some action flick or something, I think.
honestly, the two movies I remember that we saw were The Matrix and Inglourious Bastards, because those were the ones that we got the most comments from the audience. I don't know if we've talked about this or not. I don't remember, but in The
I think
Matrix,
we brought it up.
in The Matrix, when Trinity has more holes in her than a wheel of Swiss cheese, James and I wanted just to get out of the theater a little bit later and both yelled, "Die already!" Because it's like a 20-minute scene. It's probably 8 minutes in real life, but it was
it's actually over 9 minutes. I did time it.
But she had these pipes running all through, and you could hear everybody going, "Shh," "Shut up, no!" And Glorious Bastards. At Inglourious Bastards, James and I were like the only people laughing through the entire movie. And you look behind you and all these people had these, "Oh my God," like expressions. And it's like, it's a fucking Tarantino movie. Haven't any of you guys seen his stuff? They're all kind of shocking.
Maybe most of them haven't seen Jackie Brown.
I'm jealous.
Well, no, there's scenes in Inglourious Bastards that are like thrown back to the Jackie Brown movie. Just different styles that he did. He brought them from that into there, but he brought those into all of his movies, really. So it's just kind of like his style type thing.
Yeah, I just hate. I just really dislike Jackie Brown. The one I actually have to try to force myself to watch because I just haven't time is The Hateful Eight. I've heard it's an amazing movie. I just haven't seen it.
So when the History of the World Part 2 dropped, Ryan and I talked, and this is kind of funny because we did talk about all three of those: Inglourious Bastards, Hateful Eight, and Jackie Brown. And Jackie Brown was like, I think Ryan was saying it's 45 minutes too long. I agree. You could cut down all of that movie. And Ryan just kept on going back to the Hateful Eight thing, and I'm like, I don't know. If I look at Tarantino's films, the ones that I really enjoy are Django Unchained,
yeah,
and Inglourious Bastards. Those are the top two, and then it's Reservoir Dogs and goes on and on. But Hateful Eight is not up there, and it's up there for him. Rob, did you ever see that one?
No, not that one.
It kind of reminds me a bit of Open Range at times. But
Okay.
I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, no, that's one I just never got around to seeing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, Rob. Now, what I was talking about earlier about the gun place.
Yeah.
That was it. Just so you can look it up, and for people at home that may be interested in seeing what I'm talking about, it's called ISS Props.
Okay. Why have I heard of that?
Because I've probably talked about it. Ryan's probably talked about it. But if you look, there is little bits on YouTube where you'll see things where there's like tours and you can kind of see different things. But yeah, it's a 150,000 square foot warehouse.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a big place.
Wait. So it's packed. It's packed with guns.
That's in Hollywood, and they've got multiple different locations all over the world where they provide to the U.S. and Europe. So it's really, really cool. If you guys got some time to look at some of the tours that cameramen have done,
so it's really cool it's a gun nerd Nirvana. Is that really what it is?
Yes, it's Independent Studio Services Props is what ISS stands for. So, but it is really, really cool to see the things that these guys have made for movies and television.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, there's quite a few that are actually working guns.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a lot that just shoot blanks. So they've got everything you can think of.
So the old guy is an expert in this. Wouldn't prop, like, even if they shot blanks, wouldn't they legally be considered a working firearm?
It's it's quite possible. It's one of the things that ATF would probably have to get involved with it, and depending on what's going on with it,
because they would still need they'd still need an FFL for that, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's classes. I'm sorry, James. Go ahead.
But I was gonna say on their website they go into what you need to even work there,
Yeah.
and you have to have FFL. There's like multiple different certifications you need to get through the government agencies. It's kind of interesting, but
Ooh,
yeah,
alphabet agencies.
really cool thing if you guys have some time to look at it.
That'd be fun
Sounds
to
like
take a tour.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do tours because I think they do some areas that you can do tours, but I don't think they take you through the
Honestly,
whole place.
it's probably
Yeah.
like Jay Leno's Garage. It's one of those things that it's easier to keep it private than invite just for legal and liability reasons.
Oh yeah.
I could
Oh,
assume
absolutely.
if you're a place with a mass amount of firearms, it's easier just to invite people once in a while. Because I couldn't imagine with the amount of firearms they probably have, it's got to be a logistical nightmare to have tours.
So speaking of Hollywood and firearms, they're one of our favorite Hollywood guys, Keanu Reeves,
Mm-hmm.
got the honorific of having now I was gonna say I just want to get the terminology right. One second. Okay, so it is just a compound that kills so efficiently that it's named after Keanu Reeves. It's a pesticide.
A pesticide. Okay, so it kills bugs really well.
Yeah, Keanu Mycin.
Keanu
What is named after.
Sounds like an antibiotic.
It's a German researcher, Sebastian Goetz. Now he put this out and he said that it's killed so efficiently because Keanu Reeves, he too is extremely deadly in his roles. So he named it after Keanu Reeves because of how good it is. And it's it's for pesticides and it kills a fungal plant. I don't even know if I can pronounce that. Botrytis cinerea, which is a gray mold that destroys certain harvests. So,
Okay.
fruit and vegetable
For agricultural use.
Yeah. So, anyways, Keanu Reeves got something named after him.
Congratulations! What a thing to get named after him.
But
does he get a T-shirt? He's got to get a T-shirt or some sort of, like, he's got to get swag, right?
I would think so. But yeah. But yeah, I guess there's a few different kinds of. There's like a few different things that have been named after different actresses and pop icons over the years. But I guess that's what happens when you run out of Greek names.
I guess. That's kind of cool.
Anyways, but yeah, I thought it was kind of cool that he got a little thing thrown out to him. I don't even know if he even knows about it. He probably does.
Oh yeah, it probably does.
Yeah, the scientist probably reached out to his publicist and said, "Hey, I'm going to name this after you. Don't sue me."
Yeah.
Honestly, he's the one celebrity I'd be interested in his take because he's like, and maybe this is just his public image, but he seems to be like the most humble kind of whatever guy, like laissez-faire actor there is. Because anytime you hear something about him or you see an interview, he's sort of like, he seems super laid back, super like, oh yeah, I have a lot of money, but he doesn't, brag about it. Like you see a lot of actors, they've got like, $120,000 watches, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, he does have arch motorcycles, so maybe that's his that's his Rolex.
Yeah, probably.
Who knows?
Yeah. I always thought he would be kind of cool. I've seen like him he takes public transport quite a lot. He doesn't really dress like crazy. He kind of dresses like how you look at Steve Jobs kind of dressed, where it's just very plain, clothes that just look comfortable. They're not like hundreds of thousands.
He's not flashy.
Yeah. I'm sure that his pants are really well made. His shirts are really well made. His jackets are really well made. I'm sure they're like way out of my price range. They're not like Walmart off the shelf or Target off the shelf type things. They're probably, more expensive than that, but
he does seem super chill though. I mean, he's like the one celebrity I've never heard anybody say bad things about.
Now, did you guys see Rob, did you see the Bear TV show?
No.
Okay. So it's about a cooking show.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that say that it's the most realistic TV show as far as the industry goes.
Okay.
And so there was
Hmm.
somebody
Oh,
that
that's right.
wanted
I've heard about it. Yeah.
um, now there's somebody that put out his outfit, and they listed what each piece of his clothing is because they're like, um, they were just kind of interested in what he wears. Now he's got some cheap jeans, a nice apron, a couple towels, and then this t-shirt. Now the t-shirt kind of threw me off because somebody posted about it. And the shirt on there, I'm trying to find the price, was like $90
Okay.
for this one t-shirt. And it just looks like a regular under t-shirt that you wear,
So you
for
mean probably didn't come in a pack of 3?
Is it like some special cooking thing, or is it just a white plain T-shirt?
it looks like a white plain t-shirt, but
Wacky.
it's supposed to be high quality. Yeah, and I'm like, I wear those shirts, but I go down and I pick them up from these little crappy packs,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I have the 80 to 90 over $100 plus chef coat.
Right.
I personally have 4 of those. When I go and work at most of the jobs that they provide shirts,
Right.
then I go and I'll use theirs because those get dry cleaned and mine get dry cleaned out of my pocket. So
Yeah.
It's always worth saving money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm on it. But I just remember I found that and it was like this. I'm like, for one shirt?
Yeah.
I just don't. The quality can't be that good enough over the 3-pack of Hanes. I just don't see.
Yeah, I'm like,
We're a bit
I
pedestrian, guys. I mean, come on.
It's called being
but I
broke.
looked at it
That's
and I'm like,
Maybe it's
it-
Egyptian cotton.
I looked at it and it's not flame resistant.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it breathes any different. I'm like, I don't get why you would spend
Yeah.
that much money on a t-shirt like
I think
that.
Rob's got to be
I-
right. It's 300 It's 300 thread count. It's the super soft, luxurious.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you're working in a kitchen and it's a white shirt.
That's why I'm laughing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm like, you got to have that thing really well cleaned if you're in there.
Yeah. You're gonna want to get something that you can put some bleach with.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm sure that bleach is going to destroy that shirt.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to eat at the cotton. It's going to eat at the thread. And yeah, I mean, I've used my chef coats and I've thrown bleach in there, but it says I can, and it's, they're, like I said, they're expensive. They're expensive chef coats. I don't wear them to work all the time because if I don't have to, I'll use the crap that, whatever they have.
I'm just shocked, but I shouldn't. I'm like, for example, I've been watching this watch guy. He's a Dutch guy on YouTube, and he sells watches, and he'll talk about the watches celebrity have. Like, he'll talk about, oh, this is a $550,000 watch, and I'm thinking, wow, I got mine for free.
Yeah.
Jewelry, when you get the jewelry and you get things like watches at those levels and all that, it comes down to, if you got the money to spend on something, I guess, your standard. I mean, what am I talking about? I've got $1,000 Apple Watch, so everybody's got a different level from, the $10 Timex on up. So
My brother, he met a guy who's like very, very independently wealthy. We won't go into his status, but he also married somebody who's very wealthy as well. And for somehow he and my brother met, and this guy likes to take the boys out on trips and stuff like that. And he's bought $1,000 watches. I'm pluralizing that because we're talking like upwards of $5,000 watches with my brother, and up to probably more than that. I think most that my brother said he saw this guy buy was a $15,000 watch. And I'm just like, and I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, and my brother showed me a few $1,000 watches that this guy's done, and I've held them and looked at them, and I'm like, I just don't see it. I just don't see the appeal. I mean, yeah, they look cool. They have all these great features, like their stuff winding, all this stuff, and
So is my Timex.
no, well,
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
know
like,
it's when you have that kind of money, it's like,
Well,
I guess you got to buy something. And for the most part, these watches tend to go up in value depending on which ones you buy. So who knows?
yeah,
I'm partially only clowning because even if I was into that, I would never have the financial means to do it.
I mean, the most expensive watch that I've ever purchased was probably just under $200.
Hmm.
And I was using them, it was before, we all had cell phones on us.
Right.
And I was using them for timing in the kitchen. I wanted to keep track of time.
Hmm.
And so I had them and I would hang them on my chef coat or somewhere around there. So I didn't really need a very expensive watch. I needed just to do a few things. But after I had a couple of them break and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not putting money into this anymore.
Hmm.
And but other than that, I'm not going to put it on my wrist. I'm not going to put that on my wrist. If I'm in the kitchen and it gets caught on something, that can go bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't like wearing things on my wrist. I don't wear bracelets. I don't wear watches. I just never got into it.
I've been wearing an Apple Watch for years and have actually considering going back to a G-Shock style watch. I've been considering going back to a G-Shock style watch just because, like, I love the Apple Watch. I love what it can do. But part of me is wondering, we lived in such a connected world. I wonder if, like, the effects of, like, not having that thing there. So I've been really considering doing that. One of the benefits, honestly, of having like a smartwatch, in my opinion, at least you got all the biometric data that's come in handy for me personally, health wise. I don't get the watch thing. However, I really want a Rolex Submariner. I just don't have an extra 10 grand to burn. But
or more.
Like there's a base one that is like, okay, I could go with that because that's a badass watch. But I don't think my wife
at this
would.
Stage too, it also comes down to, is that something I really want to spend that kind of money on?
Yeah, that's a down payment for
Right?
a car. That's grocery bills. That's like if I won the lottery, that would be the first thing I would blow. Was I'm just gonna buy myself a watch I can hand down to my children. But I just.
Well, you could definitely hand down that Submariner, but
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
It has to be one of those that, I would have to really have money to throw away.
The other thing. The other thing is, where would I wear it? I'm never in a place for me to wear a fancy watch. I'm, whether
you wear it in a vault at a very secure bank, John.
Well, let's be honest. If I had a $10,000 watch, it'd be the most expensive accessory / clothing item I own. I just can't do it.
So you don't want to go with the $42,000 version?
Yeah, we're not even getting to that level yet.
No.
We're still at 10,000. Entry level.
My shoes say Mikey. I'm not exactly going to buy a Rolex. I don't see it, but I think it's badass though. I love seeing what people are into. I love seeing people geeking out about stuff. Like this watch expert is amazing because he knows the reference number, he knows the model, he knows what it's made, he knows all the intricate details. I think that's badass. I love being and hanging around people about like that, but I could never imagine spending $400,000 on a watch that I personally could lose. You think losing a $200 pair of Maui Jims would make you feel bad? Imagine losing a $450,000 watch.
Oh, I know.
I have. I've lost a few $100 Maui Gems, and I've been upset by it. But it's like.
Yeah, but let's be honest. That pair of sunglasses couldn't exactly feed a family of 15 for 100 years like that $500,000 watch.
Yeah,
it does seem like at a certain point, that kind of money for a watch is just like, See, here's the problem. I'm not that wealthy to think that, I go $500,000 watch, but and I don't know that a guy like Elon Musk or whomever, these $500,000,000 or billionaires or whatever, multi-billionaires, they got so much money to spend. What is that to them? Right.
Yeah.
Elon's
So,
money's
that's where,
Elon's money's interesting because a lot of it's in stock. I would love to know like what his actual liquidity
Yeah.
is.
well, a lot of these guys' values are actually, they're held in stock and on. They go up and they go down, but still at that point,
Well,
got
no,
so much money.
I guess no. My question is he actually a millionaire, or is he like a billionaire, but he only has Starbucks money? Because
I don't know.
I was like when Trump and we're actually over time, but when people were talking was Trump was a billionaire, and somebody during at some point said, okay, he could be a billionaire, but it's all tied up in buildings, and you're not exactly going to sell a building fast to get cash. So it's an interesting conversation. We talk about billionaires. We got to wrap this episode up. This has been another amazing episode. Anybody have any final words?
No, I'm good.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for the California Pariah, the Fattman, and the old guy, as always, thank you for listening.
Goodbye.